Welcome once again to Leto's Law. Here's Steve Leto.
Nathan pointed a link out to me that he thought might get my attention, and he sent me an email with the subject line, "Don't buy an RV," with an exclamation mark. Because I did a video a few years ago called "Don't Buy an RV," and it's one of the highest trafficked videos I've put up on the internet. And in it, I discussed the legal ramifications of buying an RV and how most people's perceptions of what they're buying when they buy an RV completely wrong. Because in most states, the lemon laws do not cover RVs. So if you buy a Econobox car, whatever the lowest, most inexpensive car you can buy from a car dealer, brand new car, it'll be covered by the lemon law in your states. All 50 states have got lemon laws. However, you buy a $250,000 RV from an RV dealer, brand new, with all kinds of warranties, and the lemon law doesn't cover it. And I've had horror stories upon horror stories, and clients that I've represented who bought bad RVs, and the stories are terrifying, especially when you understand that you buy a $250,000 product that looks like a vehicle, and you buy a little tiny Econobox, looks like a vehicle, and this one's got all the legal protections and that one doesn't. So it's sobering, as we say. So Fox Business ran the story about how the coronavirus is driving up RV sales and rentals. And Jeanette September wrote the article, and it's online. And she says that RV rentals have seen historic increases during the coronavirus. And the sales are also on the rise. This is as Americans are opting to hit the open road while traveling during the coronavirus times. And it makes sense. If you are confined to your house with your family, and they say, you can intermingle there, but you can't go out and intermingle with other people. Well, you can actually go and take this little family unit anywhere you want. And you might not be able to check into hotels because of various business rules. But if you bring your hotel with you in the form of an RV, well, that makes sense. So I understand the mindset, but we have to understand what all goes along with this. RV dealers across the country are saying they're seeing 170% increase in sales for the month of May compared to this time last year, because Americans want to get outside. They don't mind traveling. And during the coronavirus-induced lockdowns, this is a great way to do this. Now, some of this information is coming from the RV Industry Association. So they're going to spin this stuff in a very positive light. But if those numbers are up, the numbers are up. And they said, a spokesperson for the RV Industry Association, "We know there could be significant changes to how people travel post-COVID, and RVs provide an opportunity for people to continue to enjoy vacations with their families, while also adhering to social distancing, which will likely be around in some form for the foreseeable future. The trend towards RV travel to avoid public transportation and air travel doesn't seem to be fleeting. 1 in 4 Americans intend to take a trip in an RV in the next 12 months and will consider buying or renting one, according to a survey from market research firm Ipsos in conjunction with the RV Industry Association." Now, I'm not sure if 25% of Americans actually intend to take a trip in an RV in the next 12 months. That number seems high to me. But you'll notice they keep saying renting or buying, and I'm going to get back to that because that's extremely important. Darren Anderson, a manager at an RV center in Gardner, Kansas, told Fox Business's Jeff Flock on Mornings with Maria, "In the last 30 days, we were actually tracking the best month of our entire history. Our rentals are in the same boat. They're tracking the best year in their history." So they've been renting out RVs for nearly a decade. So those numbers are good. Now, despite reduced RV production during the first 3 months of 2020, RV shipments experienced a slight increase of 0.4% compared to the same time period last year, according to the RV Association. There's a couple of very, very large RV dealers in Michigan, and they're often near freeways. And if you drive by any of them ever, it's just a sea of RVs. So trust me, the RV industry could shut down for a year or two, manufacturing, and nobody'd notice. The inventory's out there. It's just sitting on the lots. So there's not going to be this shortage of RVs the same way there might be a shortage of cars, because I think the RV dealerships often have a larger inventory and supply on hand than automobile dealers. Now, While more Americans have rediscovered the great outdoors as a result of being inside for a large part of the year, camping as warm weather hobby has been on the rise in recent years, particularly among a younger demographic. An annual report from Campgrounds of America last year estimated millennials and Gen Xers comprised 77% of camper households. So it's not just the oldsters camping, some of the youngsters are doing it too. Millennials particularly, this is the age group between 19 and 38, have been driving up demand for luxury camping, known as glamping, especially as the older cohort become parents. And I'm here to tell you that glamping is one of those ironic things that makes no sense at all. It's like dehydrated water or low fat. Because if you want to go out and be glamorous, it's dumb to say we're going to do that at a campground. If you've actually been to a campground, you know that what I'm saying is the truth. Still, I've been to campgrounds and I see what people try to do. And I see people who bring along an RV and then set it up, and it's like they've dragged their overcrowded horde nest from home to a campsite. But that's not really camping. But the bigger issue here is that more people want to get out. And the idea of an RV is something that fascinates people, because the idea that I can bring like a hotel room with me but go anywhere I want, and if I can just get up in the morning and decide to go to another state, or I can stay here for a while if I like it. Let me explain to you, besides the legal issue, which is, like I said, lemon laws in most states don't cover RVs. You might say, Steve, but an RV's got a warranty on it. If you buy a brand new $250,000 RV, it's got a warranty on it. Yeah, guess what happens when you bring it in for warranty service? And I don't care what you say. And I get RV hate. The people in the industry hate me for obvious reasons. But you can buy a brand new RV, drive it off the lot, discover it's got some catastrophic problem, bring it back to the dealership you bought it from. They'll go, we'll look at it in a month. If you want to, you can take it and drive it for a month, bring it back in a month. We'll schedule you, but we're backed up. Most RV dealers are set up to do sales and not repairs. And they'll often tell you, we can't fix it here. It's got to go back to the dealer or manufacturer. And I have had many clients who had bad RVs that one of the universal themes was, took it to the dealer, they said it'd take a couple months. They had it for a couple months, didn't fix it. Took it back, they had it for a couple more months. I've had a client before who bought a brand new RV and had possession of it for less than 1 month in the first year of ownership. And then they're finally told, take it to the manufacturer. They drive it down to Indiana where all these things are built, and they're told, leave it at the factory and just, go stay in a hotel or something and we'll work on it. And when they get to the factory, they discover that the factory is building brand new models at one end, and they're working on all the broken ones over here. And that doesn't matter what brand you're talking about. I have people say, well, Steve, that might be with this, brand A, but not brand B. No, it's an industry norm. It's the standard. So the point I was trying to get at earlier with a disjunctive, or you can buy an RV or you can rent an RV. I strongly urge you, if you have a hankering to go RVing, what you should do is rent one. And what you do is you go to a dealership that has these rentals. You can rent a brand new unit, okay? And I know people who've done it. You rent a brand new unit, you take it someplace, and 3 days into your rental, when you discover that it's got some catastrophic problem, you go, oh, okay, I can live with it for 4 more days because it's a week-long rental. You bring it back and you walk away and go, wow, I dodged a bullet. Because if I'd bought that, it'd be my nightmare instead of theirs. And I've spoken to people who rented RVs and afterwards said, you know something? It was interesting. Enjoyed it. Don't want to buy one. And I'll be honest with you. I was kind of surprised to discover that dealerships rent RVs, because I am convinced that most people out there who want to buy an RV, if they actually rented one for a couple weeks, they'd get it out of their system. And there are some people out there who say, no, Steve, I had it for a week or two, I enjoyed it. What I would then urge you to do, if you still haven't learned, if you actually rented an RV for a couple weeks, you enjoyed it, and you had no problems, what I'd urge you to do then is go look for a used one. Because you can find somebody else who's had all the problems and they've gotten most of them worked out, and they've taken the hit on the depreciation. So I've met people who bought a brand new RV. It spent 11 months in the first year in the shop. Most of the stuff was fixed, but they were so angry about it that they spent all that money and only got to use it for 1 month that they then turned around and sold it. I've known people who've done that. And the person who buys it next gets a huge discount because they're buying a year-old unit that's used, and it's got a stack of warranty records they can check because the first owner, trust me, they found all the things that were wrong with that unit. You can go then and test these systems and go, oh, this wasn't working, now it is. This wasn't working, now it is. I've had clients who picked up brand new expensive RVs and turned the water on and heard it splashing underneath the sink because nobody had bothered to connect the plumbing under the parts are still down there in plastic bags. Plumbing inside the walls not connected. Gas lines not hooked up. Electrical stuff not connected. I mean, the crazy things I've heard about where you wonder, like, did they literally like lay off all of the inspectors on the assembly line? Or was there a day they like all called in sick? I mean, how is it possible that these things happen? So it happens. So again, the RV industry is seeing a surge in interest right now. Let's put it that way. A surge in interest. They're selling more units, they're renting more units. But if you're hearing the sound of my voice and you've watched my videos, I'll put a link to the Don't Buy an RV. It's an old video. But the number one takeaway is a brand new RV in most states has no lemon law coverage. It has warranty coverage, but that's much, much harder to pursue. So don't buy one assuming it's going to be trouble-free like it is with a car. Most cars you buy nowadays, trouble-free, brand new. Most cars. So don't think you've got that going for you. And if you have any hesitation, and most people do, if you're smart, you do, rent one for a week or two and see how you enjoy it. And then if you really enjoyed it and you really had no problems, consider buying used. Buy a used one, you'll save so much money. But if you've gone through all of this and you buy a brand new one, and you have no trouble at all after a year, send me an email. Tell me about your experience. I'd love to hear from you because you become the unicorn, my friend. I've heard from very, very few people who've actually said, Steve, took our life savings, sunk it into an RV. We've been driving around for a couple of years now, trouble-free, and we're happy. I don't get that phone call. And I've asked for it. So I'm asking for it again. If that's you, give me a call. If that's you, send me the email. But like I said, if you want to buy an RV, rent one first. And if that doesn't get it out of your system, buy a used one and have it inspected. That is one. I know people who buy used cars and go, you know something, I can test drive it. I don't need to have it inspected. If you're getting an RV, have it inspected. There are RV inspectors out there. They don't charge that much money, but they'll go through and they'll find all this stuff for you. You'd have a home inspected, right? Have your RV inspected because it has just as much stuff in it in terms of complications, plumbing, electrical, air conditioning, heating. It has those things in there. You need to have that stuff inspected. So if nothing else, you've been warned. Nathan, thanks for the story. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching Lehto's Law. Follow your heart. Listen to your inner voice. Stop caring about what others think.